Hello everyone, welcome back, and here we are to read again. A shipment has arrived, and we welcome New Bear and the Big Blue House books to my library, amongst some others. Some are shorter, and some are longer, but they are all great. Today's selection is a very timely one for our American listeners, though a little late for us Canadians, as Bear, Ojo, Tutter, Treelo, and Pip and Pop prepare for Thanksgiving. It's very busy, and Treelo isn't able to help as much as Treelo wants to, so he feels a little left out. Bear and the gang show Treelo what Thanksgiving is all about. As some of you may or may not know, Canadian Thanksgiving is in October, while American Thanksgiving is in November. But the Postal Service is a little slow these days, so this fairly rare book took its time in getting to me. So, sorry fellow Canadians, but better late than never. This was also my granddaughter Izzy's first Thanksgiving, and even though this year has a lot of firsts in store for her, every single one is very exciting and worth mentioning. So without further ado, let's check in with Bear in A Comfy Cozy Thanksgiving. And as always, here we have only the finest quality children's stories read by the finest quality narrator. Just kidding. But the stories are fantastic, and hopefully you will enjoy these renditions.
Welcome to the Blue House.
Hello from the small mouse.
Things to do.
Fun for you.
Howdy from the Big Bear. Want some fun?
Here's where.
Just for you.
All is new in the house of blue. Lots of room at our house.
Catch the moon at our house.
Kitchen's here. Bathroom's there.
Attic full of stuff here.
Pillows full of fluff here. Just for you in the house of blue.
On Thanksgiving Day, Bear's kitchen was bustling with activity. Bear and his friends were busy getting ready for their big Thanksgiving dinner. Sweeping, mixing, stirring, sniffing. There was so much to do. Treelo wanted to help. Treelo help Bear make pies? He asked. Watch out, Treelo, cried Bear. Treelo jumped out of the way. These pies are very hot, Bear explained. It's better if I take them out of the oven myself. Why don't you see if Ojo needs your help? Ojo was sweeping the floor. Treelo help Ojo sweep? Treelo asked. Treelo, Ojo cried, you're stepping in my dust pile. Now I'll have to sweep the floor all over again. Why don't you go and help someone else? Treelo was sorry. He hadn't meant to make a mess, but Ojo didn't want his help, so he went to find Pip and Pop. Pip and Pop were putting plates and glasses on the table. Treelo help Pip and Pop set table? Treelo asked. Heads up! Look out! The otters yelled. Whew! Pip sighed. That was close, Treelo. You almost got hit by a juice cup field goal. We're playing set the table football, Pop explained. Treelo play too? Treelo asked. Sorry, Treelo, Pip told him. The game only needs 2 players. Maybe you can help us later when we play napkin hockey. Pip and Pop went back to playing their game, so Treelo went to find Tutter. Maybe the little mouse would need his help. Treelo helped Tutter make cranberry sauce? Treelo asked. No time to talk, Treelo, Tutter told him. I'm busy. I've got to make this sauce. Who would have thought there were so many cranberries in cranberry sauce? Tutter didn't need Treelo's help either. Treelo sighed and walked away. No one want Treelo help, Treelo said sadly to himself. With all his friends so busy, Thanksgiving at the Big Blue House didn't seem like much fun anymore. Treelo sat and thought about what to do. Treelo know, he said at last. Treelo have Thanksgiving somewhere else. No one noticed when Treelo left. Outside, a cold wind was blowing, and the last brown leaves were rustling in the trees. "Brr," said Treelo. He needed to find a nice warm place to spend Thanksgiving. But where could he go? Suddenly, Treelo spied a squirrel holding an acorn in its paws. What does a squirrel do for Thanksgiving? Treelo wondered. Treelo followed the squirrel to his home in the hollow of an old tree. Inside was a big pile of acorns that the squirrel had stored for the winter. It was a perfect Thanksgiving feast for a squirrel, but it wasn't enough to feed a hungry lemur. Just then, a sparrow flew overhead. What does a sparrow do for Thanksgiving? Treelo wondered. Maybe Treelo spent Thanksgiving with the sparrow, he said. He followed the little bird. The sparrow was making a nice warm nest for the winter. It was a cozy home for the little bird, but it was too small for a big lemur like Treelo. Treelo walked farther, wondering where to go. Soon he came to the otter pond. He remembered the bullfrogs he'd played with there during the summer. What do bullfrogs do for Thanksgiving? Treelo wondered. Could he spend Thanksgiving with them? But the bullfrogs had buried themselves in the mud to stay out of the cold wind. It was a good warm place for a bullfrog, but it was too muddy for Treelo. The squirrels, the sparrows, and the bullfrogs all had cozy winter homes. But where could Treelo go? The cold wind blew against his fur, and Treelo shivered. He was starting to feel a little bit hungry. Suddenly Treelo smelled something delicious. What was it? He followed the smell right back to the big blue house. He could smell Bear's Thanksgiving dinner cooking. It sure smelled good. Just then, the door opened and Bear stepped out. "Treelo," he cried, "we've been looking all over for you. We can't get Thanksgiving ready without you." Inside, the house was warm and filled with delicious smells. I just finished whipping the whipped cream for our pumpkin pie. Could you taste it and tell me if it's sweet enough? Bear asked. "Treelo, I'm sorry I snapped at you before," Ojo said. "Can you help me make these paper turkeys? We can decorate them with feathers from your feather collection." "Treelo, we've been looking for you," cried Pip and Pop. "We're about to start playing napkin hockey. We need you to be goalie." "I could use your help too," said Tutter. "Could you hold this big bowl while I stir the cranberry sauce? It's much too big for a little mouse like me. Much too big." With Treelo's help, the Thanksgiving feast was ready in no time at all. And while the cold wind whistled outside the windows, Treelo knew that the best place to be on Thanksgiving was at home with all of his friends.